Welcome to MacGyver's Workshop, where you never know what we're going to be working on next. If you're not too careful, you just might learn something. Well, welcome to another episode of MacGyver's Workshop, where you never know what we're going to be working on next, and if you're not too careful, you just might learn something. As you can see, we're in the truck, and we've got the trailer behind us. We're going to go pick up a friend's 2009 Nissan Versa, and we're going through, as you can see, have Tammy pan around and look at the crappy traffic in Nashville. Our friend lives in South Nashville, and she lost a coil pack, so that only gives that Versa 3 cylinders to run on. And unfortunately, that car, it's a bit of a handful to put a coil pack on it, because you got to remove the intake manifold and all this, that, and the other. And you know, and if they take it to a shop, it's going to cost them $1,000 to get that done. So we're going to go ahead and take care of it, and we'll make some video of it. And you know, and by the way, stop moving to Nashville. We're full. This is what traffic looks like almost all the time.
It's ridiculous.
Freaking parking lot.
They're talking about 9 million people by the year 2040. 9 million. Let that sink in.
Yeah, no kidding.
I guess we're going to build double-decker interstates because there's no room. I don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah, you can't make them any wider. It's already 6 lanes. But anyway, so stay tuned. We're going to, we'll get there eventually.
It's angry, isn't it?
So, all right. So, Nashville is in the midst of rush hour traffic right now. So, we could either sit in traffic and be hungry, or
have a psychotic episode.
Well, yeah, Tammy have a psychotic episode. She gets hangry real easy. Or we could enjoy some good victuals at Las Palmas here in Nashville. On is it Edmondson Pike? Yeah, Edmondson Pike. Excellent place. So sorry, El Potrero. We kind of cheated on you this one time, but you know, you don't have a place down here, so oh well. Anyway, so we're gonna have some dinner, and then we'll get this car back to the shop, and we'll stay tuned. So after much Nashville traffic, we are back home, and with a full belly from good Mexican food, and we're going to get started on this thing. And basically what we've got is a bad coil pack, and I'm going to go ahead and put a set of plugs in it, and we're going to go ahead and get her fixed, and I'll show you how we do it. Alright, to start, we're going to have to get this engine cover off of here. We got two 10mm headed bolts right here. And then they're held in with a bit of a rubber grommet up front here. We'll get to that. I get ahead of myself. And there we go. And it's basically just a noise damper. And Nissan, in their infinite wisdom, and I guess it's to condense the engine down to make it take up less space, they've got the intake manifold wrapped up and over the valve cover, and then onto the plenum and the throttle body, and all your coil packs are underneath. And you know, my wife had an early model Nissan Sentra with a 1.8 liter, and it was literally like a 5-minute job to change the coil packs out, because everything was right on the top where you can get to it nice and easy. But anyway, we're going to have to take this intake out, and to do that we're going to have to disconnect some stuff. So the first thing we'll do, I'm going to go ahead and take this air duct out of here, give me some room. Then I'll remove this coolant reservoir. It pops out real easy peasy. And Here we've got little plastic pop-in dammits, and you just get under them and pull them up, and they'll pop right out as long as they're not perished. And then these little fellas just pop right on out of here, nice and easy. You just want to kind of pop everything on out of here. And what these are basically is plenums, and they act as like a resonating chamber so that you don't get a lot of air intake noise, because unfortunately, like back in the day when you had your Chrysler Big Block, you flipped the air cleaner lid over, and when you stomped down on it, it sounded really good and got you all excited because you heard this boop. Well, unfortunately, these don't sound like that. They sound more like a rape gerbil, but so they do their best to quiet the induction noise down as much as they can. You know what? They say that if you pull this reservoir out, you'll get a little more room to work. But you know what? I can get in there because this plastic feels really perished and I don't want to break it. So we'll pull the dipstick out and get it out of the way. I've got enough room to get down in there and get those 5 bolts. So basically what we're going to need to do now is we'll go ahead and go ahead and pop our lines off out of the way here. Get all this out, because all that's going to have to come out. And then there we go. And then we'll get all this disconnected and get the throttle body out of the way so that we can get this air plenum off. So what I'm going to start doing here, I'm going to take this, I'm going to go ahead and take this clamp off, and I can just go ahead and pull that whole boot out, and we'll have to get this off of here. It's this little spring clamp. It'll help us get that out of there, and we'll get that lifted, which is good. And then I'm going to need an 8mm socket to get those, because these don't have screwdriver heads in them. Alright. What that should allow me to do here is to pop that puppy off of there and get her right on out. There we go, easy peasy out of the way. Alright, and then we can go ahead and get this this electrical connector off of here. We have to gingerly press on the latch there to get it to unlock. She'll pop out of there nice and sweet. And then we're going to have to get this little evaporative emission line off of here. You want to make sure you put that back and don't bust anything, because that'll give you a gas cap code if you're not careful. Now, you want to be careful. Your throttle body has coolant lines run to it. Now, I'm not going to disconnect those because I don't want to have to worry about bleeding the cooling system again. So what I'll do is I'll just take the 4 throttle body bolts off of here and just lay the throttle body aside, and that'll get that out of our way for us. And again, these throttle body bolts are 8mm. And what you want to do is basically gradually loosen each one a little bit, just break it loose, and then get them out, all out the rest of the way. Remember, these are coming out of a plastic intake, so you want to be careful. Don't throw a lot of heat to it. Alright. It's going to fight me all the way out of here, or not. Not too bad. There we go. Don't want to drop those. Those are kind of important. Oh, that one is still a little tight. These things might fight you a little on the way out, so just be patient, take your time. They'll come nice and easy eventually. It still wants to play. I'll fight us just about all the way off. Alright, pop that bad boy off. And it's got a rubber O-ring here you want to be careful with. And then we'll go ahead and we'll spray some carbon choke cleaner in that throttle body. I'm going to take this and put it over somewhere safe. Of course, you always want to make sure you remember to put it back. You'll see the little rubber tip sticking up out of there. If you don't see it, that means there's no gasket there, and that is definitely no bueno. All right. Now what we've got is we got a 10mm bolt back here, and then another bolt over here, and we got 5 little ones in the front, and we'll have our intake off of here. Alright, now you're going to want to use a 10mm short socket. I'm using a 1/4 inch drive, but you can use a 3/8 I suppose. Get down on here. Break her loose. This threads into a boss on the engine block. So once you break it loose, you should be able to run it out with your fingers pretty easy. It's not going to fight you like the throttle body bolts did. But keep a good hand on it. You don't want to go dropping it down into the nether regions of the engine bay there. And that's that. Set that over there somewhere safe. And I'll move the camera so you can see the one that's over here on this side. Alright, now this one is right here. That's a nut and the head of the bolts on the back side. And you got to undo that to get that off of there. And then what I like using for that is a ratcheting box end wrench and then a standard wrench. That's going to be, this is going to be 12 millimeter. So you want to have all that handy, and you'll need two of them. You're going to need one to hold the nut while you break the bolt loose. And again, having that ratcheting box wrench really makes that a lot easier to deal with. And there you go. We'll put these two guys together here, make sure we know where they go. Alright, now we've got our 5 bolts here that hold the intake on, and you got a little plastic poppy clip right here that holds this wiring harness in there. We want to get that out of there. Alright, so we'll get us some needle nose pliers here and compress that little retainer on the outside, and that pops off nice and easy peasy. Then we'll work on getting our intake off of here. So you want to be careful and loosen all these bolts up in a pattern so you get it loose and nice and even. We don't want to warp the intake, and you definitely don't want to do this with a hot engine. You know, if you can get this thing overnight cold, that's even better. So now we need a 3/8 for that. Yeah, 3/8 ratchet works a whole lot better than a 1/4 there. Break them loose. Two. 3. 4. And then 5. I can see where having this reservoir out of here would make life a little easier, but it's really not so bad. Back these fellas out of here all the way. Be very gentle. Make sure you keep a good handle on them. You don't want to have to go fishing for these things down in the, like I say, the nether regions of the engine bay. Always helps to have nimble fingers. Fighting you just a wee bit. All right, that's number 4. Here comes number 5. Mambo number 5. All right, now a little bit of finagling to come off of there, but you're gonna have to remember we've got the PCV valve here that we're gonna want to take off. That's going to be a little Briggs and Stratton spring clamp there. Take that out of there. That gets that. And you got another one back here that you want to be mindful of. Again, another little Briggs and Stratton spring clamp there. Put that through there like so. Then pop this puppy off of here, and then just ever so gently finagle her out, and there you go. Now, you got a rubber intake manifold gasket here. This one's actually in very good shape. We're not going to have to worry too much about that. We might throw a little RTV to it. And then there's our coil packs. We'll go after them next. Now what we want to do, we'll make sure we wipe off the mating surfaces around the intake ports here. We'll make sure we get a nice clean seal. Then we can go after that coil pack. Now we're going to change all 4 plugs. But we're only going to change one of the coil packs. Now I know all you guys are going to fuss. You know, well, you're in there, change all 4 of them. Well, this is a budget repair, and these things are, you know, like 60 some odd dollars a piece. So what we're going to do for the moment is we're going to have to get this person back on the road. We're going to go ahead and put just replace the bad coil pack. And you know, if the next one goes, then well, we'll just do this all again. So That's just the way it has to be in this particular situation. So, no harm, no foul. Now, this, number 2, is our bad coil pack. So, but we're going to, for now, we're going to do our plugs just going from front to back. So we'll just do them one at a time. And of course you want to check, I guess I ought to get in frame here, check your coil pack and make sure this isn't all soaked in oil. That would indicate a bad valve cover gasket, which on this motor is totally fine. And then we take our spark plug out. This is a 14 millimeter, and these are iridium tip plugs, so you don't have to worry about gapping them or anything like that. They're pre-gapped at the factory, and you're actually not supposed to bend the electrodes. So use that spark plug on out of there. And then what I do, you can use a magnet, but I use a rubber ducky. Use fuel line, get it down there. It'll snap onto the end of that spark plug. You can work that spark plug right on out of there. Of course, I'm not doing this any justice here by, I should have threaded it out more the rest of the way, but there you go. There's your old spark plug. And you just pop it off and away you go. And then we'll drop our nice new NGK iridium plug in here. I like starting these by hand. I don't like dropping them in there and then trying to start them with a socket, because if you get them cross-threaded, then that's bad juju. So once you get it in a few threads, be very gentle. Don't drop your socket and extension down in there and crack the insulator. You don't want that. That's more bad juju. Snug that baby in there. And drop her back in. I like to do these one at a time so I keep everything in order. Nothing gets out of whack that way. You don't want to tighten the crap out of those. You just want to snug them up, because you're going into a plastic valve cover there. Alright, now we know this is the bad coil. Pull that out. Again, check it. Make sure it's not soaked in oil, because that'll short your coil out and give you grief. And the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and set it aside so I don't get it mixed up with any of the good coils. That spark plug's pretty worn. Now I'll show you something here too. Now this has only been very brief, very limited driving, but you can see this plug, which hasn't been firing, and look at this plug, which has been firing. Okay, and you see it's kind of dry and white. This one's kind of yellow and wet. That's fuel. And this is why, if you have a misfire code, like this one through a PO 302, cylinder 2 misfire, you don't want to go driving these things, because you get that unburnt fuel, because the fuel injector is still going to shoot that fuel in that cylinder. Doesn't matter whether the spark plug fires and burns it or not, but what does matter is when that raw fuel gets out into the catalytic converter, the catalytic converter is like, ooh, pollutants. Let me get hotter and hotter and hotter and burn these pollutants off. Next thing you know, you just melted down your catalytic converter. So our friend did the right thing and called and said, hey, this thing started running like crap all of a sudden, and my check engine light came on, and she got it home, and we took the truck and trailer down there and went and got it. So now we'll put our next ridiculously expensive hard metal tip spark plug in there. Oh yeah. Again, be gentle when you drop your socket down in there. You don't want to crack that porcelain insulator. Another thing I want to cover too is something that's very important, especially with these NGK iridium plugs. You want to watch buying these things online like eBay and Amazon. You'd be amazed at how many counterfeits there are out there. And I'm going to link to in the description to a really good video that another YouTuber posted, you know, where he found a set of these plugs at a price off Amazon that was like too good to be true. And as it were, it was too good to be true, because they were fakes. They were good looking fakes, you could hardly tell them apart, but he contacted NGK and he said, yeah, he said, that's a big problem. He says, we get people faking these things all the time and passing them off on Amazon, and the barcodes are the same, the box is the same, everything looks the same. There's only just a few little minor differences in the lettering on the plug and the numbers stamped around the base of the plug here, and you know, just the layman would not know that it was a fake, but it is a fake, and they probably won't last you near as long as you think they will. So, you know, make sure you buy these at the parts store. Don't cheap out and buy them online. Same thing with the coil packs. You know, if the price seems too good to be true, you know, it probably is. And if you're going to save $2 per coil pack just by buying them on Amazon, you know, and you risk it being a fake, spend the money at your local parts store. You know, keep the money in your community. So anyway, here is our nice parts store coil pack. Pop that bad boy on down in there. There we go with that one. 2 down, 2 to go. Alright, time to go back in with the intake. Now the process is the reverse of disassembly. Finagle her back in there, and remember, you've got a vacuum line back here that you have to reattach, and use your pliers to get your spring hose clamp back in place. Then we've got our PCV valve here. It'll go back on there like so, and that spring clamp will go back down where it belongs. And the most important thing is you don't tighten anything up until you get all 7 bolts in and started. And then we'll draw these down because they're the ones that have to seal, and then we'll tighten the 2 back ones. Pop our little wiring harness in there. I like to start the middle bolt because that'll let me make sure that the manifold is in the right place. Remember, we don't want to snug them all the way in. We just want to get them all started. None of them should fight you. They should all go in nice and smooth. If they give you any fits, you're doing something wrong. And once you get the 2 end ones and the center one in, these other ones that are a little harder to get to should go right in with no fuss. Alright, we put our back one in. Don't want to forget this one. This one's pretty important. Alright, got that one started. We'll do this one. Again, just get them started. Don't tighten anything up until you have all your bolts in. Because guaranteeing it, you start tightening anything down, by the time you get that last bolt in, you'll find out that you can't get it in. Now, you got a tightening pattern here, and the torque is about 20 foot-pounds, which is good and snug basically. And you're going to start from the middle and work your way out in a spiral like that. So we'll go ahead and move this bad boy up. Get that good little snug. And then remember, these 2 over here on the other side are 12mm. So our emissions solenoid back up. Then I'm going to go ahead and give this throttle body a shot of some carbon choke cleaner. Alright, so I gave that throttle body a good spritz, and we got to put our rubber O-ring back in here. And we'll start our throttle body back on here where she goes. Again, same rules apply. Get all 4 bolts in before you tighten anything up. And you want to just snug them. You don't want to put the final torque to them until you get them all snugged up. You want to make sure that throttle body draws up nice and even. Remember, you're dealing with plastic here. I'll start with the 2 in a crisscross, and then come over and snug the other 2 up. Then we'll put the final schmoof on them. And once you get the fourth one snug, take it on up. Get it nice and snug there like so. Do it in a crisscross pattern. And there she goes. Easy peasy. Now we've got our evaporative emissions line here. Goes on to the purge solenoid. Little clamp on there. Air intake hose on here. We'll take a little bit of finagling. But if you treat her right, take her out for a nice meal and maybe a glass of wine, she'll cooperate fully. And there we go. Snug up our little 8mm bolts on our hose clamp here. Then take our Briggs and Stratton spring clamp there, put that back. Take our air induction thing here, our air induction muffler, or intake muffler, however you want to call it. And we are about done. Just about. Pop our little davits back in here. Pretty little engine cover in here. Make sure you line these little tips up in their little rubber seats first, and then start your two 10mm bolts here. And as they say, Bob's your uncle. A little dipstick tube back in here. Let's fire this puppy up. See if she's hitting on all four gerbils. Let's get into our little scan tool here. We got our Versa sedan. Yep, 2009. Okay. Now I'm just gonna go to the engine control unit here. And we should see that P0302 that was P0302 code that was stored in here. And now that we're not misfiring anymore, we can safely clear that code. There it is, P0302, cylinder 2 misfire. So we're going to erase them. Ignition on, engine stop, yep. Okay. And there we go. Alrighty. There's another repair done at MacGyver's workshop. So I hope it was helpful to you. Feel free to comment, and we always welcome all the comments. We even feed the trolls every now and again. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments, or you can contact me directly at MacGyver'sWorkshop@gmail.com. And I try to keep up on top of the email account and get back to you as quick as I can on that. So appreciate it. Please subscribe, and don't forget to ring that little bell icon there so you'll be notified the next time we post another video. Now I'm going to go on in the house here and let our friend know that she can hit the road and she's running good. See ya.